Welcome, welcome, welcome. We are so happy to have you here today. This is our new Ask the Expert show. It's the pre show that we've been doing up through August until we can get to September when we have our big launch. And we're shooting for some really fun people to come in September. But we're asking the experts again today, just between the three of us ladies, because we're all experts at something, and I know you are too. So we're thankful that you're here today, and we look forward to having you at all of our shows when they're going to be at Wednesdays at noon for the month of August, and then in September we changed to 7 o'clock Central Time in the evening, so a lot more folks can join us. And they're 45-minute shows versus the 30-minute show here today. So welcome to our wonderful Marian LaSalle. Hi, Marian.
Hi. How's it going, everybody? Good to be here.
Yes, it is. And our third expert on our panel is our dear, lovely Ilene Dillon.
Hello, everybody.
She's going to lead off for us today. Go, Ilene.
Well, it's a really great opportunity to give a demonstration of the kinds of things that we can address on this program. And really, the sky's the limit. But I wanted to ask, everybody's talking about all the terrible things that are happening as a result of the COVID pandemic. So it seems reasonable for us who are out inspiring the world to talk about some of the good things that have accrued during this time. So I'd like to lead off there. And I know each of you has a story. So who would like to go first? Marian. Okay, Marian.
Well, I am a Pollyanna. I don't apologize for it. I absolutely can find the best, even if something really, really bad's happening, and I get sucked in even for a few minutes or a couple days or maybe even a month, but I can find the good from it. And so I created a group on Facebook called Natural Curiosity because I'm just so curious about everything. And then I thought that's just not quite enough. So I created mindful awareness, because we all need to be mindful about what we're looking at, who we're hanging around with, what we're watching on TV, because I think it makes a big difference. When you go to bed at night, when you wake up in the morning, if your thoughts are all the horrible things that are happening, it can bring you down. It can make you sad, mad. It could cause you to lose your job. Literally, it's bad news. So I want to keep things more positive. So that's one of the things that I like to do, is to find things to put. Oh
my goodness. Okay, what was positive about that?
She had to mute herself, I'm sure. There's somebody on the 11th floor that's doing remodeling on their office, and it sounds like it's everywhere.
Oh, my goodness. So
are you back?
I thought the roof was caving in.
There we are. Hey, so what's positive about this? Let's draw from this. What is positive about this? Number one, it's showing us as real human beings, right? That's something we were talking about before. What else? What else can be positive about this?
It got the adrenaline going. Fight or flight.
So I don't know if you guys could hear it like I could, but I thought really the ceiling was caving in. Yes, adrenaline. I do love to share the good stuff. So what is good about that? Well, they're repairing something. So, right?
So the building is going to be better, and they're downstairs. So you're in a better position.
Yes.
If they're fixing it up downstairs. That's good. Your story reminded me yesterday. I'm taking a course, marketing course with a man named Christopher Kai. And he had a guest on his program yesterday. Her name is Shelley Jorgensen. She's from Idaho. She grew up in Idaho. And she just had a conference, I guess, where people paid an enormous amount of money to go to Ireland to meet together and learn from each other, right? Which is what she was telling us about. But she made a really interesting point. She told us that She started out her life as a wife and mother selling potatoes, right? And then she learned to market potatoes to different grocers. First, she started with like a roadside stand, then to market. And now she runs international networking groups. And somebody on the program asked her, they said, how is it that you find all these people? How is it that you're involved in this when you used to sell potatoes? And she said, it all depends on who you hang out with. I started hanging out with people who had more influence, more money, and thought bigger. I looked for that. I said, who's thinking bigger? How can I expand from Idaho? So she's still in Idaho. She has 5 children and her business partner has 6. And she's running, two of them are running this international business right in the middle of COVID. Right?
Wow.
So thank you. And thank you for the live demonstration of going to the positive as well.
It works.
Louise, what's your story?
Oh, okay. My story is that since I wasn't out and about since March, actually, I think last time I went shopping was the first week of March, my bank account has swelled. My checking account. I have my money coming in each month to my checking account. And I mean, I looked in there just a few weeks ago. I could not believe how much money was in there. I don't normally keep that much money in my checking account. And I have to tell you, I'm bragging a little bit here. I had enough money to buy my Beamer machine because it was in my checking account. I hadn't been out there spending it all that time.
Right. And I'm not spending money on fuel for my RV either. I just want to point out that the Beamer machine is a machine, kind of a bio
electromagnetic something or another.
Right. That's helping you with your health, which is really important.
Yes,
yeah.
I'm so excited to have that little baby. My cat even sat on the pad this morning when I did my sessions. He likes it too because it helps circulation. It gets the little blood going in the capillaries and with diabetics, that's what happens in our hands and our feet. They go numb from neuropathy because there's not enough circulation. So this machine is a boon to me. And if anybody wants to know more about it, call me. I'll tell you all about it. It's fabulous.
That's wonderful. Do be aware that you have to spend 2 days training to use it, though.
It's online.
It's online. Oh, good. You remind me when you say you haven't been out since March. I don't think I've shared that on this program that a week or so ago, I went to see a doctor that I hadn't seen before. And everybody's wearing their mask. We're here in California. Everybody's wearing their mask and keeping their distance. And you can't sit in certain chairs in the waiting room.
Yeah.
And I walk in, and there's a place where you're supposed to stand because you're not supposed to get too close to the receptionist. And so I stood in that place, and there are patients all around me and other office workers. And I announced to her, I have a reservation with Dr. And she sort of looked at me, and I said, and you better have a comfortable bed and a clean pillow for me. And everybody just dissolved in laughter. And I said, can you believe it? It's been so long since I've been out. I think coming to the doctor is like going on vacation.
I love that. Oh, and it happens to the best of us.
So this is a positive story from me about the COVID, and while I'm with me, if I may, I just want to talk, since I also am functioning as an expert. I'd like to tell a little bit about how my expertise works.
Yes.
Okay. So I have been a marriage and family therapist and an individual psychotherapist, group psychotherapist, for 50 years. And that means I have worked with thousands and thousands of people. I've been a coach for 15 years. I've been a professional speaker since 1984. And I have taught parenting consciously, and I'm a recovered angry person, which means I'm an expert on emotions, which is why I work with Emotional Mastery for Life. So this is a lot of experience, not only my travails, but other people's travails. And as I was thinking about this, what has happened over the years is I've realized that we're all human, and a lot of us follow very similar patterns. Like with manipulation, for example, it's the same pattern. If you ever cross a person who's highly manipulative and they don't like what you're doing, they will accuse you of being bad, wrong, and crazy in that order. It's the pattern. You know, you're bad for blocking me. You're wrong. And if you stick with that, you're crazy, right? You watch it. It's uncanny. What I call a lifestyle manipulator will do that. By the way, the book I'm just finishing is on manipulation, so I'm really with this. But so we have these patterns, and that with so much experience, I now recognize patterns. I can tell you, for example, if you have a small experience, a not very consequential experience with somebody, and you get raging angry, that's a pattern that shows you that anger is from your past. There's something in your past that was very much like that is now coming forward so you can heal it, right? So knowing these patterns, because I've worked with thousands and thousands of people over 50 years, knowing these patterns allows me to get to the core of what is going on with somebody very quickly. And recently, maybe a month or so ago, I had a woman call me who had been referred to me. I still do some therapy because my licenses are still active in California. And she said, I'd like to have a free session. Do you offer first time free sessions so I'll know how you work? And I said, I've been doing this for 50 years and I used to do free sessions, but I'm not doing them anymore. And she was getting disappointed. And I said, but I'll tell you this, I get to things so quickly. I'm confident that you will get, if you just work with me one session, you will get yourself on the path of improving whatever situations you're working with. So if you'd like, just make one appointment with me and you'll see, you'll change the direction you're going in. She did. She's still working with me.
Well, she found out how good you are.
Well, it's not just a matter of being good. It's that I've learned things that are so practical and so down to earth, and it comes out of my own impatience with things. I don't like to keep doing the same stuff over and over again. If I'm going to learn something, I'm going to learn it and be done with it. So I've looked for things that actually work. And I don't tell people what to do, but I can outline the picture of what's going on and tell you what most people will do, because this isn't a therapy kind of advice, what most people would do to repair that situation. And if you do it, it's sort of like magic. It works.
Perfect.
Sort of like magic, it works. And I have witnessed it. I'm grateful that I'm in one of your classes right now. I know Lady Lou's in two of your classes, and they both deal with emotions and life's real big issues. And I have seen every single person that is in there go, oh, you just saved my life. You just saved my world. I mean, I've seen it time and time again, and I felt it myself. So I'm going to agree with you, not because you're my friend, but because it really does work.
Right.
Your advice and your strategies are perfect for us.
They are.
That's
go ahead.
Lou.
Well, I was going to say, I want you to stand up and show your new T-shirt.
Oh, yes, my new T-shirt. It says here, I'm an author. Ask me about my book. And Lady Lou's holding it up. Is that great? A friend of mine was making those shirts.
If you don't go get this, I'm going to come after you.
Yeah, Emotions in Motion. And I've got my second book on ending manipulation is in the publication process now. So I'm
Yes.
very excited. I'm 77 now, and I'm intending to write a book a year. But
Ah,
the reason, and so far I'm doing it, the reason that I wanted to talk about how I operate is because I want to encourage everybody who's watching this show to submit questions. And you don't have to give your correct name or your name at all. We don't have to mention your name. But if there's a question that occurs to you or that's puzzling to you, likely it's puzzling and occurring to somebody else as well. And so that's the kind of thing I think we want to do on this show, regardless of the topic that we're working with. In my case, it happens to be real life. So if you have some real life questions, please submit them. Submit them right now. If you're listening and you have a question, submit it. Just write it in.
right. And there's two ways you can do it. Actually, three.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you, Eileen. This is so good. On Facebook, you can put them in the comments if you don't mind people knowing who you are, or if you'd rather send it to us in the private messenger in Natural Curiosity Facebook group. Nobody else will know who you are, and we won't tell anybody who you are. That's the anonymity of the anonymity. Excuse me, I can't talk. And that way, you don't have to have your name publicized. Or you can leave comments on our YouTube channel. That's under Marian LaSalle, Natural Curiosity. But there, your name will show there. But the Facebook Messenger, or you can send us emails. And I don't think Marian's got our different.
This one is specific
down
to
there.
Eileen. This one's Eileen at emotionalmasteryforlife.com if you have a question specifically for her. But otherwise, you can do like Lady Lou said and just comment anywhere you can find us. And we are so easy to find. We're on LinkedIn, Twitter, Facebook, YouTube, you name it. We're there. So
Yeah.
Right. And when they do submit questions to me on parenting, emotions, manipulative behavior, anger, fear, you name it. When I say real life, it's real life, right?
Uh-huh. So what kind of questions would they ask you, Marian?
well,
Nice.
yeah, my questions would be more of the business relations. Like, don't ask me about marriage or kids or anything, because I'll turn you right over to Eileen. Mine are about technology, software, live streaming, social media, just all the different things that you can do to get your message out to the world. That's where I come in, the podcasting stuff, any kind of that kind of technology. Because, a lot of people get the wrong impression when someone says, "Oh, Marian's a technology wizard. She'll text you," because they'll hand me their phone and they'll say, "Can you fix my phone?" And I was like, no. More of a software kind of gal, online stuff, sharing your message with the world, but not fixing stuff. I don't really want to get into that.
Well, Marian also has a part of her company where she actually helps you produce a show just like what we're doing right now.
Wow.
You can have guests. You can just be yourself only on the screen, or Marian will be a co-host for you, or she'll be in the background. And it's a wonderful service. If you're not techie like me, I just show up in the time when she tells me when to be here. And I do the scheduling and stuff like that. Don't get me wrong. But technology, that's Marian's forte. And she does it beautifully.
So what is yours, Lou? What would you give people expert advice about?
Well, I can talk about growing sticks.
Well, what about the work you do with Marian? I mean, you're both looking at building community. You do all the backup work of publicizing and contacting and scheduling and writing. Talk a little bit about that, because that's a wonderful skill.
Well, I've developed all those skills. Huh?
And she's good at it.
Oh, thank you. I've developed them over the years. I've never done anything like this before. I was the queen of networking in Houston for about 10 years, loved all that and taught networking, business to business networking and stuff like that, and became a master gardener when I came up to Conroe area. But I never knew anything much about scheduling and writing and booking people. And I've just kind of self-taught. You just get into it. That's your job. You learn how to do it. So
Is
anybody can do it.
Oh, anybody can do it. That's a real talent. Yeah.
That's right. Thank you. Not everybody can do it.
Not
Lady
everybody
Lou.
can.
And we're going to focus on you, one of our shows. Today, I'd really, really like to stay on task and highlighting Ilene. Now, we have our first question, Ilene. You ready?
Oh, good. Yeah, sure.
All right. All right. This one comes in from Peggy Moore. She says, how do you suggest lighting a fire under yourself to propel yourself forward when you feel stuck because what you want to do will cost way more money than you have?
Oh,
Isn't that interesting, Peggy? Well, first of all, I'm sad that you're in that situation. So, we talk about lighting a fire under ourselves, and I realize that's just a saying, but really, let's look at that, because what we're saying is we're trying to push ourselves into something. We want to light a fire under us so we'll go forward. And what I've found over the years is that that's not nearly as effective as luring yourself. Okay, so you need to find a way to lure yourself. And I would recommend that you start by identifying what is it that you want to do. Sounds like you've already got that identified. Then break it down into steps. Then look at what steps you can do and start going toward those steps. What I found many years ago is that the obstacle is not the way we usually think of it. It's all the stuff that we have between us and where we want to go. And if we start moving, then we're putting energy forward. And interestingly enough, that energy gets met and we get help. For example, I wrote this book. I didn't do a really good job of launching it, so I wanted to start getting the word out. So I started just, doing things. I wrote blogs and whatever. Next thing you know, Ricky McInnes says, I know these two women, Marian and Lou. I get on your program. I'm now on this program, and I just got selected to be in a composite book that's going to be out by November 10th on self-care, and it's going forward. And Peggy, like you, I live on Social Security income. I don't have a lot of money to work with, but it hasn't taken a lot of money to work with because I keep having people come to me. I had a man from Australia contact me the other day saying we're building a platform where people can call you and you can do workshops and all this kind of stuff. And it's 6.5% of whatever it is that I make, which is nothing. So I don't have to put anything up front. All right. There are all kinds of opportunities like that. But you need to lure yourself. And the way you lure yourself is just by getting started, because as you get started, you'll start getting enthusiastic about what you do, and enthusiasm draws. So you will draw the resources and the people to you, and get it out of your head that you have to pay so much money because you may not have to.
Right. I want to add just a little bit to that, in that it doesn't always have to be your money, right? It may end up, just like Ilene said, it may end up somebody offers you a position or makes something available to you that you never knew. We had someone on our show the other day that was in a house fire, and she lost one of her children, and she was burned severely. And out of that, she lost everything. Her house is gone. She lost one of her children. 6 months of her life, she was in a coma. And when she got out, she didn't know what she was going to do. She had no money, no resources. But she did exactly what you talked about. And I could see a carrot luring somebody. I could see a carrot. I can, going toward it. Mm-hmm. So think about sponsors. Think about opportunities that people could offer you. But if people don't know your vision, they don't know that they should offer you anything.
But even more important in terms of motivation, if you're not moving, all of the world, everything in creation is energy. So if you're not moving, nothing can match you. So you need to just get moving just a little bit. If you can only see this much movement, then that's the amount of movement that you make. But you just keep going forward. Don't set those limits on yourself. Lou?
A little tidbit that I have learned over the years is don't tell your family.
I know that one.
Tell people who are willing to encourage you and are willing to share your dream and want the best for you. They're not trying to protect you like your family is.
Right. So I just want to say one more thing. Years ago, I had a job where I was doing testing for military people who were mustering out of the Army after the Vietnam War. And my job was to help them figure out what they were going to do when they got out of the Army, right? And nobody was supervising me. So I did this little thing. When they came in for their test results, before I give them the test results, I'd say, do you have a dream? Do you have a dream about what you'd really like to do? And almost everybody had a dream. They had a dream. And they told me their dream. You know, I want to go to college. I want a house with a picket fence. I want a ranch. Whatever. And within 5 minutes, every one of those people started talking themselves out of it. I don't have the money. I don't have the support. I don't have the family that could help me. I'm not attractive. I'm too old. I'm too young. It was so astounding. We take our dreams away from ourselves. So keep your dream, keep acting on it, stop limiting yourself that it only has to be done a certain way, and just put one foot in front of the other, doing things that you like or that you see you can do. That's all.
Perfect. Oh, that's beautiful advice. I love that. So know that you can get this kind of advice on our shows. All of our shows, actually, not just this one, but this one's going to be the best one because we're so excited about it.
Well, I really appreciate your question too, Peggy. Thank you.
Yes, that was a beautiful question. And let us know how we can support you, Peggy. Tell us, because she's in our mastermind.
Oh,
And we know some of what she's doing. And we're there for you, girlfriend. We really are.
I'd like to hear, you've got my email. I'd like to hear if you choose to use this, what happens?
Great testimonial.
Right.
Yeah.
So now we've given a bit of an example of the kinds of things we can do. I'm so grateful for that question, but also for your stories and your about what you're expert on. So this ask the experts. I think we're all very excited. We want to learn from experts. We want to be experts. We want you who are participating to find your own expertise in life. And this is a perfect example. Thank you so much, Marian and Lou, for including me in this project.
We're
thrilled.
We are thrilled. We really are. We were so delighted when you said yes. So, Marian, we'll let you take us out. How does that sound?
That sounds great. And I want to make sure that everybody knows that you don't get anywhere unless you ask. So I would highly recommend that you take the advice that was given today and do what you need to do to get inspired, to follow that carrot, to what is it you said, Ilene?
Enthusiasm draws.
Yeah, just
Get enthusiasm. Just go
toward. Yeah, go toward what you really want, because if you don't, you're going to get here next year at the same time and go, oh, I should have gotten started. Why didn't I start a year ago? So now is the time to get started doing something positive for yourself. I know we all take care of other people and we do a great job of it, but what about us? We want to take care of ourselves. Be positive and feel good about what you're doing. And if you need encouragement, you know where to come. We're right here. All right, we'll be back again very soon. Thank you for joining us. And all of a sudden, we got 2 questions here. Oh no, we've got a giggle.
Hey, Lauren.
And Lauren says, previous drip under pressure. Oh, that's
We
great.
love you, Lauren.
Yes, thank you again. And we'll see you again very soon. Feel free to jump in and ask the experts.
Yes, and
Bye.
remember, get Eileen's book.
Emotions in Motion.